In this video, I'll show you how to free up the storage space on your Android phone. When the storage space is full on your Android phone, you can actually use a SSD drive, external SSD drive, one of these portable drives like the Samsung T7 Shield, or even you can use an external enclosure for an NVMe drive, and there is an NVMe inside of this enclosure. Any of these works. The faster the better. You want a portable drive that is really fast, so you can transfer the files fast from the phone and not risk disconnecting. When you transfer the pictures and videos out from your phone, you can use a USB-C cable to USB-A, or even a USB-C to USB-C to transfer to a computer, or you can transfer to the SSD drive directly. You don't need a computer to free up the storage space on your Android phone. This is a 2 TB portable SSD. I can make videos and pictures and transfer them to the portable drive, and like this I have 2 TB of storage space on the SSD. You connect the portable SSD drive through USB-C to the phone. I'll show you first. This is the Files by Google app, the file manager, and I have the internal storage 256 GB and 1 TB of SD card, and I can add now, I can plug in the SSD now. There is no power, no external power, everything is powered from this phone, and I don't need to open that up. And now I have internal storage, SD card, and the shield, so I can browse this. So now you see there is this blue, there is the blue light on the T7 Shield. You can use any SSD, but the T7, I like the Samsung T7 Shield a lot because it's really solid, it's really rugged, and it doesn't move on the table when I have it like that. So when I access the folder, you have to be careful with these cables that they might be loose. So when you start transferring the files, don't move the phone, don't move the SSD, don't use the phone, because anyway it's very fast, so it will not need a lot of time to move the files. And here I already have some files because I use this on the computer, and this is how I access the T7 Shield. And I can make a new folder here, for example, a new folder 2025. You also see the notification that Samsung USB drive is ready to use. So 2025 0219 photos. It's always good to give it a meaningful name so you know what it's about when you go to it back later, but this I can move it somewhere else. The SSD is really just a temporary storage place, but you could actually use this as a permanent option. If you do use it as a permanent, make sure you make a copy of the files and then you move them on a second drive. So like this, you have actually the files in two places. Copy first, then move. So copy on one drive, move to the other drive. This is if they are really important, especially if you go on a trip that is really unique and you want to make sure you don't lose your files from the phone. First copy to one external SSD, then again from the phone move the same files to the second SSD. So you have two SSD drives, less chances to lose the files. Also, you can keep these two drives in different places. Here I have folders on the T7 Shield, and this is where the files will go, and this is where I will move the files. Now I go into the internal storage, and usually you want to look for the DCIM folder. I'm not sure if I pronounce it well. This is how I pronounce it, DCIM, and here is where you find the pictures that your camera takes. Usually you will see them in a camera folder, but my app also, you might want to move screenshots. So you might have pictures in DCIM, but there is also pictures. So you have the DCIM folder with camera files and videos, but you also have the pictures folder. This is internal storage pictures, where you might find screenshots. So here I will take screenshots, I will save screenshots. You might want to delete the screenshots if you don't need them, or move them to the external drive if you might need them, in case you need them later. So I could actually take the whole folder like this. I could move the whole folder, or take individual files, but I'll move the whole folder. Hopefully when I take a screenshot again, the next time it will create the folder when it's missing. So I select the folder, long press on it, screenshots, and then I choose here on the 3-dot menu. Then on the top here, I have the 3-dot menu, choose move to. And after I choose move to there, it shows me a nice menu option here, internal storage, SD card, and the T7 shield. I could actually use them, I could move them within the phone storage to another folder if I wanted to, but I want to move them to the photos folder. I want to move them to the photos folder I just created. So now, before moving the files, I want to make sure the cable on the phone is really well plugged in and the SSD also is well plugged in, and nothing will change them, nothing will move them. And now you will see this starting to move the files now. And there are a lot of screenshots here, so this is going to take some time. But as we're watching this, now there is space being freed up from the phone, and it's moved actually into the SSD. I told you earlier it's better to copy first, then move, but these are just screenshots, and in general, it's not like I went to a trip somewhere and the SSD is usually very reliable. The most important about the SSD, this is how I lost some data one time. About the SSD, what's important is that you must safely unplug it when you're done, or even I will let it sit for 1 minute, just so to make sure that any leftover file is copied over. There is no caching, nothing like that happening, because I had some files getting corrupted on Windows. I'm not sure if it was because of the phone, the SSD, or Windows 11, but I had some files being corrupted on this drive from this phone. I transferred them the same way like this, and then they were not readable on Windows. I think it was a problem with Windows actually, but I don't know what happened then. So for this reason, safe eject when the transfer is finished, safe unplug, and also make sure you don't move the cables when this is happening. Don't use the phone when you're doing this. Even don't touch it. I have the cables here now and I will not touch anything. I don't want to risk disconnecting the USB cable and corrupting one of the files. This is especially with large video files. If you corrupt one file, it might corrupt a small piece of the file, then the whole video is not readable. You could still try to recover them. I did recover those videos, part of them, not all of them completely, but it was enough to be able to make a video from this drive. And everything is powered from the phone, so make sure the phone is really well charged when you start this. I didn't show how much free space was at the beginning, but I think it was showing, yeah, it was showing how much free space it was. So let's see how much it's going to be when it's done. Almost ready. When it's finished, you will see first and most important is this light should be not blinking. If you have a status light on your SSD, and that light should be off, but also you will see from the phone here that it will be finished. You can always cancel it if you change your mind, but I really suggest you don't cancel it, especially if this is what you want to do, to move the files. And finally, moving one folder, screenshots, it's ready. Okay, the interesting thing is going to be now, so the light is not blinking anymore. It's even turned off, so that's great. And now I want to take a screenshot and see if it creates the folder, and it created the folder, and then it's my screenshot, so it's perfect. The folder is there. Okay, now there is 128 giga free on the internal storage. You go and back to the video and check how much it was at the beginning when we started this. It's also 826, so it took some time with the screenshots, but it's okay. So let's go now into the DCIM folder. In the DCIM folder, I have here Photography Pro and Videography Pro. I long press on one of the files, and then I go on the top of the phone there, 3-dot menu, select all, and then I choose the option. It's not gonna do it if there are trashed folders in it. So first, before doing this, I have to empty the bin. If there are files in the bin, it will not allow you to move those files, so I have to go in the files manager, tap on the bin, and for all items, delete permanently. This, you have to make sure that you really want to delete those files. And now I go back into the internal storage, DCIM, and Photography Pro app and Videography Pro app. I want to copy these together in one folder. I might just select the folders as they are. You can select the folders as they are, or you can select all the files like this. Select all, and then choose the option here, Move To. And then you get the same menu like before. But I will choose to move the whole folders. It's going to be easier. I also have some video files in the Videography Pro folder, so I will choose, to make it more simple, I will choose both of these folders, Photography Pro and Videography Pro folders. This could be any names, these are just the names that the apps I'm using create. And then after selecting the folders or files, you tap on the three-dot menu, choose Move To. Before starting to move the files, again, I put the phone and the SSD on a desk here, not touching it. And the last thing I do, I choose the folder where I want to move these files here. So I have the screenshots and those two folders. Move here and the files will start moving. This one should be a little bit faster because there are not so many as the screenshots. I usually don't keep the video files or pictures on the phone for too long. I like to move them to the computer so that I free up the space on the phone and I can watch them on the computer if I want to, like this. I don't need a really high storage capacity phone. If going on a trip in the evening, I can move pictures and videos to the SSD and to a second SSD if needed, or NVMe. Actually, this is an NVMe drive inside. And ideally you have two SSDs, different colors, so you know which copy is what, and then you should have the same files on both of them. Like this is 2 TB here, the phone is 256, but actually it's 2 TB and 256 together. So both of these were moved, and if I want to take a picture, I can take the picture. I can still take the picture and it's working fine. And now the SSD light is off. This is the most important part. Swipe down from the top quick settings menu, tap eject and says don't remove. You see the light is still on. And now you should be able to disconnect, but I like to give it a few more seconds, maybe 30 seconds more, or wait until the light on the SSD is off. So now the light is off, I can unplug it. Now all those pictures and videos are on the SSD, including the screenshots, and I can plug in the SSD to the computer and move these to a hard drive, a bigger storage capacity drive, and keep this for the next time to copy the files over from the phone. Like this, you can have really a lot of storage on your Android phone. iPhone also, the iPhones now they have USB, and soon I will have an iPhone 16 Pro Max to test this. I will make the same test on the iPhone 16. Did I say 15 or 16? iPhone 16. Soon I will have the iPhone 16 Pro Max to do the same test, and we'll see if it works and how fast it's gonna be on the iPhone 16 Pro Max. On Android, this is the Sony Xperia 1 Mark V, USB 3.2, I believe this is also 3.2. The SSD supports speed up to 10 gigabits per second. That's 1000 megabytes per second real transfer speed. This is USB 3.2 or USB 3.2 Gen 2. That's when you have the 10 gigabits per second speed. Usually it's 5 gigabits per second. 5 gigabits per second is still very good. USB 3.0 speeds. But on USB 3.2 Gen 2, you have 10 gigabits per second. I'm not sure about the Xperia, and actually I don't know exactly how fast this transfer is happening between the phone and the SSD, but I can tell you it's really fast. It feels really, really fast with the large files. It will transfer the files very quickly. So I could put in the description the size of the screenshots folder so you can see how much the time was when I started and when I finished, and then you can calculate the actual speed. That screenshots folder, I believe it's at least 5 giga. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. You should really definitely have an external SSD, portable SSD, to have it you in your bag. When you go somewhere on a trip, you use the phone to make videos and pictures, put the files on the SSD, and make more videos and pictures on the phone. Or you can use the cloud services. Thanks for watching.